I can't get enough of my phone. I'm hooked, man. I'm always on there. I got work emails to check. I got the news notifications popping up. I'm always needing to know about breaking news so I can come here and talk about it. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on the websites. I'm always streaming music. It's too much. I wish I could do less of it. Well, as usual, the youths are leading the way. There's a trend growing among Zoomers, Generation Z. They're switching from smartphones to dumb phones to lessen dependence and addiction to screen time. So how do you balance the prospect of using a dumb phone with today's expectation of work or communicating with your family and your friends? I don't have a damn clue how I would do my job without a smartphone. I don't even know if I would be allowed to have my job if I didn't have a smartphone. So we'll talk about the smartphone and what we've gained. We'll talk about what we've lost, what the personal connection is and the presence that we're losing. Are we really willing to give it all up? Joining me on the line right now is Teresa Lusk, who's a life coach, who's an expert in this field. Teresa, thank you so much for the time. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, great. So I'm reading now from an article at yahoo.com. The rising demand for dumb phones is driven in part by emerging movements to disconnect from social media, including organizations like the Luddite Club, a group founded by New York City teenagers in 2022 who swapped their smartphones for flip phones. If I have one overarching message for my fellow teenagers, it's this. Spend time getting to know yourself and exploring the world around you. High schooler and Luddite Club founding member Lola Shub wrote in an essay for Insider. It's so much more fulfilling and so much more real than the one inside your expensive little box. I mean, what's your reaction to this, Teresa? What have you got to say about this just as a matter of reaction?
Sure. I think it's a great idea, actually. I think it's a much needed shift in our society, especially with the younger kids. If you look at research, it shows that these kids are, they have a higher level of depression, anxiety, things of that nature because of social media. So turning in their smartphone for the dumb phone actually releases a pressure, really, from having to be connected to their social media platforms that aren't necessarily, a positive thing for them. So yeah. I'm all for it. I think it's great.
I think it's great too. And it's easy for me to kind of sit here in my chair with my little microphone and say teenagers should spend less time on their phones. But I mean, doesn't it kind of screw up their social life? I mean, I've always kind of understood that many, maybe even most teens don't want to spend 6 hours a day hunched over their phone, but that's where the action is. They're on Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok, and that's where connections are happening. And if they don't participate in that, then they're cutting themselves off from the sort of social life of their peers. And then it just seems like that might increase their isolation. What do you feel about that?
It may actually push a trend of hanging out in person, which is really something that our country needs, this younger generation and older generations too, not just them, but, I think it would be very helpful. The thing about this, the younger generations is that whatever trend is going on, they all seem to follow. So if they were to cut down on some time on social media and maybe make plans to go to a mall, go bowling, guess what? It's going to begin to be a thing. So I have hope for this. I think that there's something good that can come out of it. It may take a little bit, and I do wonder how much of this is really going to catch a fire with them. I mean, I think it's a great idea. It's happening. I do wonder how long it will last, but I think it would be really, really healthy. I think we might see a decline in some of the depression because kids will begin to actually connect with people, and not just kids. I'm sure you're aware, adults also.
Yes.
So I think it's great.
I think it's great too. What advice would you have for somebody who's, I don't know, let's call them a elder millennial. Maybe they're, 39 years old. They'll be 40 in December. They have a middle management job at a big media outlet that necessitates that they need to know what's going on in the world all the time, and they've got to be in communication with a team of people all the time. Just that person, theoretically speaking, it's me.
Yeah.
What do I do? I don't know if it makes sense for me to switch to a dumb phone because I don't know, the demands of my job, that just seems like a bridge too far. What could I do as like a half measure?
Sure. I get it. You are in the media and communications field, so you do need to know what is going on. I think if you tried the phone out and just saw what are the advantages of it, are there times of the day where you can actually put the phone away, the smartphone? Can you actually put it away and exchange it for the flip phone? It's really going to be based on, can you, based on your career, put it away? If you can, and you can try the flip phone for a little bit, I just think it's something really refreshing. Maybe on the weekends, if you don't have to be connected, you leave the smartphone and you take the dumb phone with you, and maybe just it'll force you to disconnect. And then with time, I think people begin to realize, and even yourself, you might realize and go, man, this is really something that I've been needing and didn't even realize how much I've been needing this. So I think you can do it in slots, maybe not the entire day, but portions of the day. I think it's worth trying for sure.
That's great. I really envy my wife, who's a writer, and she gives tours at night, but she's at home writing during most of the day. And I'll come home from work and I'll say, good God, babe, did you see they just indicted Trump, or this person some other said he's running for president, some development. And she says, I haven't looked at my phone since 9:30 this morning. I have no idea what you're talking about. And my heart is just so full. I'm just so happy for her that she gets away from that a little bit. And man, I'm so envious. Could you talk a little bit more, Teresa, about the effects that too much screen time and a lack of actual human connection can have? I mean, I think we're all kind of starting to understand that it drives anxiety and depression and feelings of stress and isolation, both for kids and adults. What can you drill down and tell us kind of in greater detail psychologically what's happening there?
Yeah, so you actually took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry.
That's exactly what – no, that's okay. That's exactly what happens. So, phone, all the social media stuff, it just creates a false sense of feeling fulfilled, of friendships that really may not even really be as solidified as we think that they are. We'll get a false sense of, yeah, I'm content with life. I've got people I know, people I talk to. But actually, if we took our phones, put them away, and exchanged, an hour of social media with an hour of time with somebody to have coffee with them, and if you really pay attention and you weigh that out, you'll begin to see there is a difference between human connection, eye to eye, a hug, a smile, smiling at one another. You're going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference in how you feel. But I think we've gotten so comfortable with substituting those things, and our brain thinks, well, I've had enough because I've been on social media. I've been interacting. I commented on somebody's post and what have you, but it's actually not real. It still does not fill that human connection that we were created to have. So there is no replacement. I encourage people, even if you don't replace your phone, go out and do more of in-person activity and in-person connection. And you'll see your mental and emotional and spiritual health prosper.
I love that. And that's advice that I should take. Teresa, I think all the time about, I had a really robust social life, and in many ways I still do. But, I was in college in New Orleans, and I've never left. And, so many of the people that I sort of counted as my chosen family have moved away or had children or went to grad school. And there's people that are really important to me that I just don't communicate with very often anymore. And I feel like sometimes, God, it would be so meaningful for both myself and this other person if I just sent them a text and said, hey, I know that we're not like fast friends anymore and we don't talk very often, but would you have coffee with me? Not to any great end. Just let's both get out of our house and out of our routines and just kind of catch up. That's a good thing to do, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, good.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard to do that, but I understand it's the payoff is huge.
Yes, it is. But I mean, I think it's again, I think if we became intentional to say, hey, I'm going to reach out. One of the things I encourage people to do is set an alarm, set a reminder, set it on your schedule and say, call so-and-so this week.
Yeah.
And it helps you to become, really, I hate to say this way, but human again, to connect with those people again.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Okay, great. I've only got a minute left here well, not 60 seconds, but this will kind of be my last question. So in addition to turning to our phones for, entertainment, we're going to watch YouTube, we're going to watch TikTok. I'm going to check Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to see what all my friends are doing, what my old high school guys are up to. There's also this sort of newish phenomenon when there's a mass shooting or a terrorist attack or some other sort of traumatic event. We turn to our phones and we engage in doom scrolling. Doom, D-O-O-M, doom scrolling. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that is and why we should maybe not do that so much?
Yeah, I think that we love information. We've been trained to love information more and more, again, thanks to social media, and that can be good and bad. Sometimes we get to the point where we want to see what else are they saying? Who else is saying something about this? What other pictures are out there? What else can I get my hands on? And the truth is that we're not realizing that when you're looking at negative, harmful things over and again, it's actually doing something to your brain. So you want to, yes, be informed. I'm all about being informed, but there has to be a cutoff point where you just go, I'm not looking at this anymore. I know what happened. It's unfortunate. And I've got to go find something positive to watch or look at or go do. And so, I stay away from stuff like that for too long. If it's going on too long, it'll change your mood. If you pay attention, it actually does change your mood.
Mm-hmm. Great. We'll leave it there. My guest is life coach and TV host and inspirational speaker, Teresa Lusk. Teresa, how can people follow your work?
You could find me on social media platforms at Teresa Lusk Show or go to my website, Teresa Lusk Show.
Very good. That's Lusk, L-U-S-K. I appreciate the time. Thank you for being available on short notice. Nice speaking with you today.
Thank you. It was great. Have a good one.
All right.